Wine world, cellar time, excellent. Woo, 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 woo. Hi everybody, I'm Rich.
And I'm Seth.
And we're coming to you live from Cantiga Wineworks in Fairplay, California.
We're not live, this is being recorded.
What do you mean? We're live in front of the camera here.
I don't think you understand what live means.
Welcome to week 3 of Wine World Happy Hour. Often we get questions regarding pairing wine with food.
And today Christina's going to give us a crash course on food and wine pairing.
Nice.
Hi everyone. With so many of us spending more time at home these days with our families, no doubt many of you are doing a lot more home cooking, and so we figured that a topic of food and wine would be well timed today. So many of you have heard Rich and Seth's spiel and know that we do a very European style of winemaking, which is exceedingly food friendly. So we're huge into wine and food pairing over here. Now, what's European style versus New World wine? Well, European style wine tends to be higher in acidity, lighter oak treatment, and for that reason, it doesn't overwhelm the food that you're pairing it with. Plus, it has the acidity to carry through when paired with food. New World wine, in contrast, tends to be softer acidity, much more forward, prominent new oak characteristics. Any wine can be successfully matched with food. We just need to understand how the components in the wine interplay with food. Now, I'm going to give you 5 simple rules. This is just a quick crash course today. 5 rules of thumb to consider when deciding what food to pair with your wine, or vice versa. Rule number 1, match acidity. Acidity is probably the most important component of the wine to consider in pairing it with food. How do we taste acidity? If you've ever tasted a wine and you feel kind of a tanginess on the sides of your tongue, kind of a brightness, that's acidity. Acidity is also detected as the finish in the wine, so the longevity of the flavor, how long that taste lingers. Higher acid wines have much longer finish than lower acid wines. Now, the acidity of the wine should be higher than the acidity of the food. Interestingly, cool climate wines and non-malolactic wines are naturally higher in acid. One of the reasons we do non-malolactic here, it just makes it much easier to pair with food. Now, an example of how to match acidity with food is in the case of tomato-based dishes, such as pasta. You want a brighter, higher acidity wine with tomato-based dishes because that tomato itself is really high acidity. That's one reason why we do our sun-dried tomato pesto paired with our Zinfandel, which is also a nice bright wine. Rule number 2, match sweetness. Sweeter wines tend to pair with sweeter foods. That's just the way it is. It's really hard to have an off-dry wine paired with savory dishes. A prime example of this is dessert wine, of course. Ports, late harvest wines, those are the ones you're going to want to pull out with dessert, with your chocolate cakes and your cheesecakes and things like that. In the case of off-dry wines, that's where we get into looking at maybe Asian cuisines. Chinese, even Thai food tend to have a lot of dishes with a little bit of sweetness in them. And that's where you're going to want to bring out maybe an off-dry Riesling. Off-dry is also known as semi-sweet. It means there's a little bit of residual sugar left. Rule number 3. It's important to consider body or flavor intensity as well when you're making your pairing choice. Intensity or body is primarily a function of tannin, the tannins in the wine. Red wines tend to be higher in tannin than white wines because those tannins come from skin contact of the grape during fermentation. Tannin is often, in a young wine, is tasted as kind of that mouth-drying quality. You can also taste tannins in the side of your mouth as well. A big, bold wine is going to pair well with big, bold, flavorful dishes. For example, hearty stews, you're going to want to pair with a Cabernet or a Syrah or some kind of Bordeaux blend. And for the vegetarians among you, grilled portobello mushrooms with your Cabernet is fantastic pairing. Rule number 4, and this is probably the best known wine and food pairing rule: red with red, white with white. It's not a lie, it's actually true. So it's no coincidence that white wines tend to go well with fish and chicken. Whites are lighter in tannin, higher in acidity. They go really well with those white meats. Red wines, on the other hand, tend to be slightly lower acidity than the whites and tend to have more body, more tannin, more depth. Those ones are going to be very compatible with slightly lower acidity dishes. Your big hearty beef stews or lamb dishes and things like that are going to be really great with your favorite reds. Rule number 5, and this is my favorite one: think regionally. I love the way that the wines of a given region go so great with the foods from the same region. It's interesting because food and wine kind of evolve together. So that German Riesling you love goes fantastically with German bratwurst. Italian food, it shines with high acidity Italian reds such as Barbera. Those earthy Spanish dishes that you love are great with your Grenaches and Tempranillos. And remember, rules are made to be broken too. These are just a rough guideline. Play, have fun, try ingredients with your wines and see what you learn from the situation. That is part of the fun of wine. More resources can be found on our website, cantigawine.com. We have some of our favorite signature Cantiga recipes posted there, some of our pairings that we do in the tasting room, so you can have a little fun play with them as well. Now, no episode of Wine World is complete without mousing. Rich and Seth, come on, mouse time.
Speaking of mousing, here's our mouser cat. This is Tika. So she's our winery cat. Winery dogs around here also, he doesn't mouse.
All right, so what do you think, you guys? What should we pull out of the cellar?
Well, I remember you talking a little bit about doing a sweet wine with sweet desserts, but another one that I really enjoy is a sweet wine with a savory dessert. So I was thinking our Sauterne style late harvest Semillon, which is called our Madrigal.
Ooh.
I don't know if we have any foie gras, but that's what you would pair with a Sauterne. So
yeah, absolutely.
we could try one of those.
What vintage do we have available?
We have.
Should we go digging?
I think our first vintage we did was a 2006 off you guys' estate vineyard.
Do we still have something
We
from
have
that
something to
vintage?
6. I think it's
we
pretty
can find
low.
some.
Ooh, let's go look.
Ooh, 6.
Right.
Come on, Blackjack. Let's mouse.
So
All
we
right,
were
so,
saying
you know,
06 Madrigal. We have the 10 as well, but the 6 is old and we haven't tasted those in a long time.
This one's down the side.
Seth is the only one who knows where everything is
I
around
know
here.
it's pretty limited, but I believe it's right here. Here we go. Oh, wow.
Nice
Yeah,
golden
beautiful
color.
color.
Wow, that doesn't even have a
Show that.
label on it.
Oh, that does not. Wow, that's
Wow.
beautiful. Shall we go take this out to the tasting room?
Let's do it. That color is just gorgeous.
So I also found the 10 Madrigal. I just kind of wanted to show the difference because that one wasn't labeled, so this shows you the label. But look at the color difference. So there is a bit, they're both golden because these spent, I think, about 4 years in barrel. So you're getting some of that golden color from the barrel. Maybe I should move it to the camera. But this is just vintage. It's not necessarily age, but it might be age why it's darker. I do
white
remember
wines-
it being darker
White wines do darken with age.
to a point, and we do very low sulfite, so there's nothing protecting the discolorization.
Sure, it's got beautiful tartness. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
One
Just
that's-
rubies, you could put that on a ring. Here, I'm gonna bring this to the camera. So, I don't know if you can see that, these are called tartrates. And what it is tartaric acid precipitating out as a potassium bitartrate. So it's basically an acid crystal. They're edible. You can grind them into the powder, which is the you add to soup, stews. That's the cream of tartar. But a good thing, you want to see this on a cork,
Should we taste it?
especially on an old one.
I'm really interested. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the sugar on this is extremely low, as it should be.
Oh,
Both are under 5%. I think in this case it was even lower. It might be in the 4%
Oh,
realm.
my goodness.
But that's really where a dessert wine
That
is
is
supposed to be.
wonderful.
that tastes
Well,
like
this is
a
very
bread.
low.
That tastes like a sauternes if
Oh,
I've
yeah.
ever tasted
I
one.
would definitely
Yeah.
love to have foie or pate with this.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is lovely.
So you got any foie gras?
Yeah.
Wow.
Stone fruit?
If
Still
anyone,
good
if
acidity.
anyone still has a bottle of this at home, let us know. Post a picture to our Facebook page. Let us know that you've held on to it for this long, because it's amazing.
Because we don't have many.
No,
Yeah.
we do not. So I know a lot of you at home probably have some questions for us, whether it's about winemaking or any food and wine pairings. We're looking to start a new segment, Ask the Winemaker. So if you guys would like to email us with any questions you have, info@cantigawine.com, and we'd love to answer your questions.
Absolutely. And even though our tasting room is closed, we're still here for you guys. If you're running low on Cantiga, just let us know. We can do curbside pickup. We can also do shipments. We're running a promotion on flat rate shipping rates, so just let us know how we can help you and we'll take care of you. Thanks so much, everybody. Cheers and see you next
Cheers.
week.